who's actually going to get the most out of a dedicated center channel speaker, and who can safely skip it without compromising their tea night experience. If you're on the fence about adding a Acoustics Q Concept 90 to your living room setup, you're probably wondering whether the extra cost translates into real-world dialogue clarity, or if you're just buying something that sits pretty and gathers dust. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you start thinking about a center speaker, the first thing that pops up in most people's minds is, will it actually make a difference? The answer isn't a simple yes or no, because it hinges on three things: the rest of your system, the size of your room, and how you use your TV. If you already have a pair of quality front left and right speakers, a solid center channel can tie those two together, anchoring dialogue and on-screen effects so they don't feel like they're floating above the picture. On the flip side, if you're watching Netflix on a soundbar and a couple of bookshelf speakers, you might not notice a huge shift, and the extra amp you'll need for a passive speaker could feel like an unnecessary hurdle. Let's break down where the Q Concept 90 shines and where it might leave you wanting more. The most talked about feature is its quiet cabinet design. In practice, that means the internal framing is built to minimize resonances that can color the sound. In a typical living room, especially one with glass doors or hard flooring, you'll hear a cleaner, more neutral mid-range when you crank up a dialogue-heavy drama. The two 5-inch mid/bass drivers do a respectable job of handling the vocal frequencies that most movies rely on, and the 0.9-inch tweeter adds a touch of sparkle without getting shrill. In my own testing, the speaker reproduced the subtle inflections in a courtroom drama that I'd previously missed on a standard TV speaker. No artificial booming or wobbly bass, just clear speech. That said, the quiet cabinet doesn't magically turn a modest amp into a powerhouse. Because the Q Concept 90 is a passive speaker, you'll need an external amplifier that can deliver enough power to drive those drivers cleanly. If you pair it with a low-output receiver, you may notice a lack of authority in louder scenes. Think action sequences where the explosions feel thin. The speaker isn't a bass monster, it's a center channel, after all, so you shouldn't expect it to replace a subwoofer. In a larger room, think 400+ square feet, the bass can feel a bit rolled off, making it best suited for medium-sized spaces where the TV is the focal point. Aesthetic-wise, the gloss white finish is the kind of design decision that makes a difference when your TV is wall-mounted. The smooth white surface blends with a modern TV bezel, avoiding the visual clash you sometimes get with dark-colored speakers. If you've already committed to Q Acoustics left and right speakers, the Concept 90 matches perfectly, creating a unified look that most people don't realize adds to the overall perception of quality. However, if you have a darker home theater aesthetic, the white might stand out more than you'd like, and you may need to consider painting or a different finish. Now, who should actually buy this speaker? First, anyone who already has a pair of Q Acoustics front speakers or other high-quality bookshelf units and wants to complete the front soundstage. If you spend a decent amount on a 5.1 or 7.1 surround system and are looking for that missing link that ties dialogue and on-screen action together, the Concept 90 fits right in. Second, people who watch a lot of dialogue-heavy content, think TV series, news, sports broadcasts, and story-driven movies, will notice the difference the most. Third, those who appreciate a clean aesthetic and want a speaker that can sit either on a TV stand or be wall-mounted without looking out of place will find the gloss white a genuine plus. Who should skip it? If your budget is tight and you're already eyeing a soundbar that includes a virtual center channel, adding a separate passive speaker will likely just add cost without a proportional gain. Similarly, if your primary use is music listening, a dedicated center speaker isn't the best choice. You'll get more balanced sound from a full-range bookshelf or floor-standing speaker. Finally, if your current AV receiver is on the lower end, under 30 watts per channel into 8 ohms, you'll probably be disappointed, because the speaker needs enough headroom to perform its best in dynamic scenes. Let's talk about hidden trade-offs that don't show up on a spec sheet. Because the Q Concept 90 is passive, you'll have to think about wiring.